one.
John, Andy made the point that Villaflor will be pushing Serrano for most of this fight. That's what Serrano was so successful in doing, in fighting the draw, staying away from Villaflor, coming in with a jab, moving away at all times. It's not popular.
As we wait for the start of round one, that was due to his problems with his eyes. Didn't he suffer a separated retina sometime last year?
I think he suffered, he was operated on. He was operated on in Manila, the Philippines, and the operation was successful. In fact, he had fought already right after that operation.
Okay. Fine, we're getting ready now for the start of round one. On the left, at 130 pounds, Samuel Serrano in red trunks, Ben Villaflor in black, both at 130. Serrano took off 2 ounces at the weigh-in, made it fine, and here we go. Start of round one, Villaflor, Serrano, and Serrano comes out with a burst of left-right combination and startles Villaflor. He seems to be fighting. Nick, it looks like he's starting to take the fight to Villaflor.
Well, he certainly surprised Villaflor. Villaflor isn't going to look for Serrano to come out hitting. But once he's seen that opening flurry now, he'll be watching, and Serrano's not going to be able to sneak in those punches too often.
Ben is the heavier puncher of the two. He's got 40 knockouts in 60 bouts, and a southpaw, one of 6 junior lightweight southpaws. They seem to be sizing each other out after that initial exchange at the opening bell. Stanley Christodoulou, the secretary of the South African Boxing Federation, the referee. These fellows have boxed 15 rounds, know each other fairly well. Villaflor went in as a 7-5 favorite. Serrano back to the ropes. Villaflor caught him with a left hand, but he managed to box his way out of that. Both men squaring off a bit. Andy, what is Villaflor's best punch? Where does he rely on for most of his power?
I think that just like Lourdes, that left straight. If you'll notice, Serrano came out with the flurry, and then Villaflor hit him with the left. That, I think makes Serrano show a little respect.
He's got a much more powerful physique than Serrano, and that's obvious that he's the puncher and the other fellow is the boxer. Go into a small clinch here. Appeared to me that we'd have an action fight from the start, but they seem to be sizing each other up a bit after that initial exchange. Does Villaflor generally start his fights quickly, Andy?
Pardon?
Does Villaflor generally start fighting quickly?
No, I think he's a slow starter, but if he sees the opening, he's going to go for it.
That's the end of round one, the Junior Lightweight Championship here, Serrano and Villaflor. Go a very even end in that first round for those who are just joining us. Villaflor, Serrano, round 2 coming out. Villaflor tapping his gloves together to get timing. Serrano now up on his toes. Serrano jabs with the left. And Villaflor now looks to be pressing the fight. This is going to Villaflor trying to take the fight inside on Serrano. They are on the ropes. Crowd of about 18,000 on hand here tonight. Good right hand by Serrano. Serrano has only scored 9 knockouts. He is not noted as a vaunted puncher, more or less as a boxer. Ben is the slugger here in tonight's contest. A flicking jab is what gave Ben trouble, a right hand, and he forces him into the corner. The pattern of this fight seems to be Villaflor pushing and using his strength. A good left hand by Serrano, but a good right hand counter by Villaflor. And it looks to me, Nick, that these fellows are very evenly matched. Villaflor into the rope.
Serrano showing right away, Don, that he's not going to be afraid to mix the punches with Villaflor.
Well, he'll have to take that fight to him. And Andy, you've seen Villaflor, as I say, more times than any of us. Is he a fighter who is his punching power still as great as it was when he started out, when he's winning all those fights by knockout in his early career? Or do you think he's slowed down as he...
Well, I think he's more polished now than the first time. I think it was because before he used to just rely on...
Good right hand by Serrano.
Well, Serrano seems vastly improved in the last time.
Most fighters have difficulty solving a southpaw, but Serrano obviously did not in their first fight, going to a draw. And he's boxing well this evening. A good right hand by Serrano. An uppercut and a left hand by Serrano. Ben is the aggressor here, but looks like a good action fight. Ben Villaflor has a scar in his right hand, the result of a non-title fight with Larry Castaneda just a month ago. The left hand by Serrano. Another left and the right by Serrano.
We're still in the early moments of the fight. Who's got the staying power? It's a hot night, temperature in the 80s. This is a 15-rounder.
It's stifling humidity here in Hiram Beacon Stadium, San Juan, Puerto Rico, as Samuel Serrano begins the third round with a few left jabs. Ben is very aggressive. He's a bulldog type of a style and a tough kid. It's made him very popular both in Honolulu and the Philippines. Serrano now trying to get range. He's the taller and the longer reach of the two fighters. Andy, does Ben have the staying power to go 15 rounds if he has to?
Yes, Ben has been known to go the distance.
I understand.
You know, Filipinos are used to this kind of weather, the humidity and all. It's just like home for him.
So I guess
you'll notice now, Serrano is doing a lot of holding, and the referee has warned him 2 times already, just in this round.
There's a good right and a left by Villaflor. Well, as we say, Serrano is a fighter who will try to negate Villaflor's power, and he'll do so, I would imagine, by staying at long range and clinching. Serrano caught him with an uppercut. Looks like something to me, Andy, it'll be a grueling fight. They seem to be getting inside, and Ben is pushing and using his strength a great deal. Good left hand by Serrano. Right hand by Villaflor. These fellas seem to equalize everything the other one throws. Would you say so, Nick?
Absolutely. Both fighters countering very, very well. And one thing that we're watching in this round so far, the referee warning Serrano. He's cuffing Villaflor a little bit behind the neck. When Villaflor gets in tight, Serrano holding a little bit. Referee trying to stop that.
Villaflor relying on his counter-punching ability. Serrano gets off first, but Ben is right back there. Andy, is this the type of fight you expected Villaflor to launch against Serrano, be much more aggressive than the last time, try to get him and use his strength to bull him into the ropes and counter-punch effectively with his power?
Yes, I would think that he would, especially since he has the longer reach. Well, Ben is trying to get under that reach, and that's why you'll see him getting clipped every now and then. because he's trying to fight.
Even on everybody's estimation, not just a points difference and even rounds more than anything else. I can see where the first fight easily resulted in the draw. Don't you think, Andy, these fellas are equally matched in ability?
No, I think we're going to have a more decisive score this time. I think Ben will settle this, I think, in the 12th round. If you want me to go out on a limb, I would predict that.
Okay, fine. I think, speaking on behalf of the Philippine Embassy and the Philippine people, that's a fine prognostication. Of course, Ben is determined to prove, and he's coming here to the backyard of the challenger, that the draw was a fluke, that he really is a better fighter. Sammy Serrano looking to be the 4th current world champion from Puerto Rico this evening. A nice jab, and he seems to be moving more behind the jab, Andy, in this round, don't you think?
Yeah. I think that this is the 3rd round, isn't it?
This is the 4th round.
This is the 4th round, and I think that by the 5th round, Ben will be able to find the range, and we're going to see more solid punches coming from Ben.
We've seen that Serrano found a bit of the range then. Serrano is much more mobile in this round. Does it look like that to you too, Nick?
Serrano's doing much more moving. I think his corner told him he's going to have to move a little more, stay away from Villaflor and not get inside where Villaflor can start to use that muscle and push him back.
Sammy's using his jab now effectively. He's bending again, trying to force him to the rope. But Serrano manages to tie him up every time. Stanley Cristodolo of the South African Boxing Federation, the referee this evening.
Serrano is very quick with his punches. Very quick with that last punch coming up.
Does Ben get frustrated, Andy, when the fight doesn't go his way? He seems to be doing a bit of wild swinging here now as Serrano boxes at long range.
Well, I would just say that, like any champ, I guess he wants to finish the fight. Oh, that was a foul. That was a foul.
That hurt somewhat more. Serrano. But Ben is breathing under most of them. Ben is missing. Most of those points breathing on them. Serrano is missing. The crowd, of course, for the Puerto Rican. Again, missed twice in a row. Those punches missed. Andy, didn't they? All those punches seem to be off target. The crowd is on its feet here at the Bison Stadium. But Serrano is taking the fight to Villaflor tonight, fighting to take that title away, not just to win it. And there's been a lot of controversy in the last few months, Ali and Norton, and that Duran-Castellini fight, and we know that a man must take a title to get it. He can't just win it on a close decision, and Sammy Serrano is fighting to take a title tonight. He's got a hell of a champion in Ben Villaflor. Two-time title holder. Another good right hand by Serrano. Andy, it seems that Villaflor is getting a little tougher trying to get off tonight. His punches are not that fluid. Do you think as the rounds progress, though, he'll get a little bit more active?
Yes, I think so. I think that, you know, he, like I said, he has to cope with a longer reach, and he's trying to get under those jabs. think that Ben has recovered from that last round, that beating he took in the last round.
Of it.
Serrano have a cut problem in camp this week?
Yes, he did. He cut his the cleft of his chin, and that is exactly, Nick, where it's coming from. That's a very astute observation, and he had his headgear on too tightly, so when he hit him with an uppercut and a small cut at the cleft of the chin. I wouldn't think, however, that that would in any way hurt his performance here, because it's certainly not going to stop him from his vision being impaired, and it's beneath anything that could really hurt him, unless the cut gets so big that it would necessitate the fight being stopped. A 10-point must system is in effect here in Puerto Rico. 10 to the winner, 9 down to the loser. Andy, it looks like Serrano's clinching a bit more in this round than he did in the last two. It seems that Serrano's clinching a bit more in this round than he had in the previous two.
Yes, I agree with you.
Being a boxer, he may be trying to bide his time.
I just hope Serrano doesn't lose steam midway in this fight, because it's still going to be a very long night.
Trying to get off with a right and a left, but Sammy nullifies that by a clinch. As you said, Nick, earlier, this humidity, you can see the shirt of referee Stanley Cristodolo. A right hand by Villaflor, and forcing Serrano to the ropes. You can see Villaflor's strength also starting to show. Cristodolo is just saturated with perspiration here. Both fights being from the tropics, it doesn't seem to be an advantage for either. Ben comes right back. Not a very even round, I would say. Wouldn't you, Andy?
Yeah, I would say I'll agree with you. For every time Serrano connects, Villaflor would be able to retaliate just as hard.
It looks like a small nick on the left eye of Ben Villaflor now. If we can look very closely, it's just a red mark, but it may be the beginning of a cut.
Yeah, there's a reddish welt on his left eye. I hope he doesn't that doesn't develop into a cut.
And again with a good right. Nick, how do you see the pattern of this round going? It's been very close, and as has the entire fight.
The fight and the way the pattern has gone is swaying back a little bit toward Villaflor.
Victor Echegaray, Japan's Apollo Yoshio, and Serrano. And I'd be remarkable if this fight tonight ends to be another draw. And I just don't know what situation would happen there. This fight was ordered to be made again after the controversial decision in Honolulu, but it looks very close here as we go into round 7. And Villaflor on your right now, he's the southpaw. Shorter of the two boxers, Sammy Serrano, a good boxer, excellent counter-puncher. And working inside, but most of the punches are deflected by Serrano's elbows. left by Villaflor. They're wearing 8-ounce gloves in tonight's fight. Mexican gloves. Oh, a left and a right by Serrano. And it looks like Ben has to get off just a little bit more. The last round he was a bit more persistent. Now he seems to be holding back and again letting Serrano dominating with that left, right, and that long jab. Does it look like that to you?
He's spacing himself.
Right hand caught Ben on the ropes, but he bounced right back. The crowd, of course, will cheer every time Serrano lands. Oh, that was a solid right uppercut by Serrano. That was one of the best punches of the fight. Oh, a wild swinging right just missed. If that would have landed. Ben becoming very... Oh! That was a solid... Some shot there, Nick.
Serrano is countering superbly in this round. Villaflor doesn't know which way to go. He started the round working the body of Serrano for the first time in the fight, but he's not being able to stay right on top of Sammy with the pressure, and that gives Sammy a chance to use those long arms really to his best advantage.
Does Ben generally doggedly pursue his opponent, or is he more of a waiting fighter who tries to get him out one punch, Andy?
He's looking for the opening. He's up against an opponent who probably has about 2-3 inches reach advantage over him, would you say?
Yes, I think that's a very fair estimate. It looks like a lightweight against a junior lightweight, honestly, here, but Ben's, you know, in size. Another good left by Serrano. Ben, of course, is a more durable fighter, and he looks like a fighter would be very hard to knock out. But I would concede that round to Serrano.
Serrano is piling up points.
Because he has the power, I'm sure, to come back. We'll remember Morito Kashiwaba. He knocked him out in the 14th round of a title fight earlier this year. So with a punch, you're always in there. This is we're going into the midway point of the fight. Sammy Serrano seems to have some Vaseline covering that cut on the cleft of his chin now, just to prevent him from bleeding any further and inhibiting his performance here tonight. Ben Villaflor is getting a record $150,000 for this purse, for this fight. $15,000 to Serrano. The bid was made by Lope Soriel and turned over to Toribe Sports Promotions.
Don't think Serrano doesn't remember that, too. He's a chance making $135,000 more than me. Hey, I want to be the champ and get up with the big money.
Quite an incentive. Ben, I would agree with you. Andy is waiting a little bit more for the right shot. Oh, the two right hands by Serrano. I'm afraid he's waiting too much at this point. Oh, another good right hand by Serrano. An uppercut. Caught Villaflor. Ben has never failed to follow Serrano and always keep on him, but he just doesn't seem to be getting off quick enough to avoid the fast punches of Serrano. Solid right hand. Andy, this seems to be one of the finest performances I've ever seen a fighter turn in against a southpaw, and what Serrano's doing. He's throwing that straight right hand, just the perfect punch for the southpaw, and Ben just doesn't seem to know what to do with it.
Well, I only know is what this fight is proving. What this fight is proving is that Ben can take it. I wonder if Serrano can take it, because Ben hasn't really landed any of his solid punch.
Ben is tough. He's been a favorite, 7-5, even here in Puerto Rico. whippet-like punching by Serrano now, who's really dominating this round, don't you think, Nick?
Absolutely. Serrano using that reach to tremendous advantage. And Villaflor very, very hesitant with his punching.
The eighth round, as the crowd here cheers the final points by Samuel Serrano. Sammy Serrano is standing up before the bell rings. Ben is taking his time on the stool as he comes out here for round 9. We go into the final half of this fight. Serrano has taken some sharp punches. He's never seemed to have been in trouble of going down, save for the 4th round. But Sammy Serrano looks very confident at this point. Liverpool lunges in with a right. Would you say that Ben has to do a lot more punching now to turn the fight in his favor, Nick?
I think Ben in his corner definitely know that he is behind now, and he's going to have to come at Serrano getting towards the latter rounds. Maybe not right away, but he can't afford to lose too many more points. We've still got another 7 rounds to this fight. This is round number 9.
He seems to be allowing Serrano to tie him up inside and then fight well with the jab at long range. 2 mistakes he's got to correct if he's going to retain his title here tonight. And as I said, Ben was a 7-5 favorite in the betting. Right hand by Serrano again.
Villaflor got in his best punch in quite a few rounds with that left-hand lead. He came in leading with the left. Serrano not very quick with that counter. He didn't get the counter back at Villaflor, and Villaflor did finally land a punch, something he's done very, very infrequently in the last few rounds.
And again, don't you think, Andy, he's loading up for that one-punch knockout, but do you think he's got the stamina left to deliver it at this point?
When you've got this kind of confrontation on a boxer against a slugger, the slugger usually has to come out in the earlier rounds. The boxer...
Trouble on Serrano's glove.
He has some trouble with the gloves and the string, and the referee, Zagolo, took care of that. But I think as the fight goes on, I think you'll see Serrano picking up the advantage because he is the boxer. Villaflor is coming all the time. He's got to be the more tired of the two fighters.
Ben was called another right hand, but I'll say this, Andy, he does not stop throwing as he catches Serrano on the ropes. Unfortunately, his punches seem to be a bit wild, even though he's throwing an awful lot of them. Sammy is really using that height to his advantage. It reminds me of Monzon, whose height and reach are just perfectly used against all his opponents. And Sammy is just tying him up when he wants. I would again have to concede that round to decisions, or as we said earlier, box 3 draws. He has scored knockouts over Morito Kashiwaba, Flipper Uehara, and Teo Shibata to regain the title. He has that power when he wants to use it. He's got him with a good left here as Sammy holds on, and Ben starts to work that body. Ben is now pressing his advantage. Good right hand counter by Serrano. Ben is shorter, muscular fighter. As the crowd starts to chant Serrano, he seems to feel that he's moving into range of winning the fight. Both men appear to be a bit more tired now, wouldn't you say, Andy?
Serrano?
I say both men seem to be.
Yeah,
so
well,
Ben
the
starts to
third
punch.
round.
Ben is throwing much more leather this round than he has in the last 2 or 3. I can say that for him.
Ben's got quite a mouthful of it.
Serrano is just warm for holding with that left as he threw a right uppercut. I don't know if he deducted a point for that, but it was a warning from referee Stanley Christodoulos. Ben has been much more tenacious in this round, and the points have been scoring. He's been getting through. Perfect bob and weave style, though, to avoid that follow-up by Serrano.
Villaflor has a cut now just above that left eye. It's closing a little bit underneath, and just above that left eye, he's starting to cut from that vicious right hand of Samuel Serrano.
He did get in again to the body. That may be a pertinent factor. As we know, Villaflor suffered the separated retina that was fused together by a laser beam earlier last year, but that eye is a constant source of problems for him. They're going inside. This is still a nip and tuck fight, it appears to me. And a tough one to score. Really good right hand. Very tough fight here. Ben Villaflor suffered a cut. If you're a boxer, you've got to go with Serrano. You like a slugger, you can raise points for Villaflor. And I think we're going to go nip and tuck down the wire. We're going to round 10 in the last third of this fight. That is very close here at the Hiram B. Thorne. Round 11. Sorry about that. 5 rounds to go here, and it is still nip and tuck. Ben finding out of a slight crouch makes it even look more drastic, the height and reach advantage of Serrano. It seems to me, Andy, that Serrano effectively covers up every time Ben starts to launch an assault and nullifies his power by, tying him up with those long arms. Political candidates just arriving here. The elections on the show. The mayor of San Juan, Carlos Romero Bartoló, receives an atypical political reception here. No chance of a re-election, but they may not be any better than Villaflor or Serrano's here this evening. Candidate against Fernandez Colon, the governor. But right here we've got our own contest that we're more interested in.
You love him, huh? You love him. Are you kidding?
A good chopping right by Serrano, wouldn't you say, Nick? Aiming for that Villaflor cut.
Serrano dancing away from that combination by Villaflor. Serrano knows what he wants to do out there now, and Villaflor, I'm afraid, is becoming a frustrated fighter. He's not doing what he wanted to do coming in, and he is getting frustrated out there.
Getting tired with that jab, and there seems to be a slight cut above the bridge of Ben Villaflor, above the nose, just going between the eyebrows on Ben Villaflor. Ben is wild with those punches. Serrano continues to set the pace.
Ben, you finished, Ben.
That Villaflor is very tough, though, Andy. He does not seem to be a guy who will ever give up. Ben looks arm weary, too, shaking those arms to help the circulation. Now, Villaflor's glove is adjusted by Stanley Christodoulos in that round.
Round that's going to spell the difference in this fight.
That is the only round. There's been a clear-cut difference here. because both fighters, Villaflor and Serrano, have been very evenly matched in this fight. As we go down to the wire now, the last 4 rounds of the fight. There's a fellow here ringside saying, warning Serrano to watch out for a lucky punch of Ben Villaflor. Sammy whipping out that combination now. And Ben standing there, not throwing enough leather here to dominate the fight. Villaflor got off a small fusillade there. Very, very even. Serrano nullifying everything Villaflor tries to throw. As you said, Nick, he looks like a very frustrated fighter here, trying to land that power, but not being able to get in that defensive guard of Serrano.
Serrano's tactics a little different than the first fight, throwing a lot more punches than he did the first time these two met in Drew. And Serrano said he'd be doing more of the same, just sticking and moving. Well, he's doing sticking and moving very well, and he's also showing he can slug. And that was a good straight right hand. He's been using that right lead very effectively.
Oh, he staggered Villaflor, a right and a left, and a solid left-hand shot. Ben just does not seem to have that fire here tonight, Andy. He's got the power, but he doesn't seem to be utilizing it enough. A little bit too slow. Do you think it could be a result of overtraining?
I don't know. I didn't follow his training, but Ben is really having a hard time getting under that long reach.
And throwing, but missing. Serrano, of course, looking to the corner there for a little advice. Saman look is there. Ben threw a good left hand there. But Sammy shook it off. Villaflor's handlers really frantic now in the corner, yelling at him, trying to stimulate him into getting off with those punches. Sammy Serrano has Vaseline on his face. It's wiped off by referee Stanley Cristodolo. Seems like Ben is getting off a little bit quicker now. They're telling Sammy Serrano to move here. Ben doing a lot more punching.
Behind ka na, bata.
We can see that Serrano looks like he feels he's ahead because he's holding Villaflor back. He seems to want to crest through these last 3 rounds on the strength of the advantage he has in points here. While Ben is getting a little bit more desperate and is going for that knockout. I'll say he has picked up the pace. Wouldn't you, Nick?
I think Serrano's corner has told him to stay away from Villaflor as much as he can, not to get in and mix it up too much. And they want to watch out for that knockout punch that Villaflor is capable of throwing.
Throwing a couple of good left hands, but that was nullified again by Serrano with a chopping right. Good jab by Serrano now.
This Serrano has a beautiful left jab. He sticks it out like a rapier.
So he's fought a very, very good fight here tonight, and it just seems like Ben getting tagged with that jab. has not been able to use that power. It's not managed to master that advantage of reach that Serrano has, or how to break those clinches that he holds him in when he tries to get inside.
La corona la tenemos, Sam. Descuidado, desconfiado, Sam.
Ben punching in the clinch there.
La mano por el cuello siempre.
Both of them dripping in perspiration.
Aprieta del cuello.
That was a good chopping left by Serrano now. As Ben has most of his punches tied up in clinches.
In there, and because he has to knock out Serrano to win this fight, to retain the title.
That's the way it looks
And
to
I
me.
suppose that's what they told him already.
Well, we'll see if we can have a knockout here, and Ben Villaflor retaining his crown, or a new champion tonight. It's round 14. Nick, do you think that Villaflor can stay out of reach long enough to win the title here this evening?
Well, Serrano, very good question. I think he can, but of course you got to remember fight number 1 tonight, which the people at home did not see. Chun Man Chun was well behind in the fight, and he hit Frankie Benitez with a right hand that dropped him late in round number 10. So anything can happen, and of course Villaflor is the champion. He's got the power. Whether he can put him away, I don't think so at this point in the fight now.
Serrano has never been knocked out. He has never been stopped, but then again, neither has Ben Villaflor. So we've got two men who have never been stopped. Ben Villaflor, again, still pursuing Samuel Serrano. Caught him with a good left hand, but not enough power here. The crowd may sense an upset. A nice jab by Serrano. One really can't say that Villaflor has fought a bad fight tonight. He's just fought one that is not effective against his fighter. But you certainly can see he's tried. He's done everything he can to retain his championship here. He's never stopped coming, never stopped throwing punches. As that one there landed, can tell. That's a solid left by Villaflor. Another sharp punch. Rocks Serrano's head back. A few more of those, and maybe we'll have a chance for Villaflor to come through. That was the best punch of this round by far, wouldn't you say, Andy? How do you see the pattern now in this round? A right by Serrano. It's cheers from the crowd.
Serrano is starting to realize he's just not going to be able to dance away from Villaflor. He has to throw the punches. Starting to pick it up as the rain is starting to fall here at the stadium again, but going right after him is Villaflor. He knows he's going to have to deck him, and he's trying to knock him out right now.
Villaflor very tenacious in this round. The rain is starting to come down a bit. And it's a little bit tougher. But luckily, the fact that we've got an apron over the ring here, a covering, so your pitcher won't be hurt. Serrano got off well at the end of the round. And that's a very...
Faces talking to their fighter. They know their fighter has to do one thing, and that's stay away from the champ this round.
Well, the crowd is confident. Ben needs that knockout win to retain his title here tonight. Let's see if he can pull out a storybook finish. You know about Chris Chambliss and that home run in the ninth to get the Yankees American League title. Let's see if Ben Villaflor can pull out that home run. He's a puncher. Sammy Serrano clinching. The crowd is on its feet. Ben Villaflor is out there slugging. Stanley Cristodola breaks him up on the rope.
Ben is going all out to get that payoff punch that's going to save him this title.
Well, he's got to knock him out or get knocked out, I think, is the way he should go as a champion. Then the roundhouse left, but Serrano held him back.
Serrano's corner yelling to him, stay away from him, move away. Serrano wants to come in and mix it up with Villaflor here in the 15th.
Another left and right, a left hand by Serrano. We're just drenched here by the rain in San Juan's Hiram B. Thorne Stadium. The round is over. I think we've got the new junior lightweight champion of the world, Samuel Serrano. He's a confident man. We hope so. We hope to see a new lightweight champion from the Philippines here. And Sammy Serrano, the winner, the new junior lightweight champion of the world, Samuel Serrano. Ladies and gentlemen,
About time Villaflor fight in a heavier division, the next one, lightweight division.